Now, one of the biggest stories being covered on Chinese media today is the arrest of a man following the stabbing to death of two children outside a school in Shanghai. Kerry Allen, the China analyst with BBC Monitoring, explained more.
This happened in Shanghai this morning, that 29-year-old man who apparently was unemployed and wanted to take revenge against society went to a primary school in central Shanghai and stabbed four people, two fatally. Two little boys. One student's in hospital and a teacher is being treated for her wounds. There's been video online this morning showing the suspect, surnamed Huang, be apprehended.
Occasionally these horrendous stories do emerge, don't they, from China? And I know that often there is a discussion about mental health provision and whether actually more needs to be done to identify and help people with mental health issues.
Yes, definitely. There's not a lot of compassion for this man, I would say. A lot of the commentary on social media on Sina Weibo, which is like Facebook or Twitter in China, is people saying that they think he should be given the death penalty. But there is a little bit of discussion on Weibo today about this man possibly not getting the right treatment, because in China there is a big stigma still against mental health, and people saying that it's very difficult to go to your parents or to a teacher if you have a mental illness, because in China people think of it as a problem that needs to be solved, and it's very difficult to have the right care and compassion, the money as well, in order to make sure that people are treated and can and so big instances like this don't escalate. Are
there provisions available and support for people with mental health problems if they do go forward, or is that not available?
There are. I mean, in recent years, there's been a bigger awareness of depression in China. A few celebrities have spoken out about their own experiences with depression, and there are hospitals where people can be treated. But the healthcare system in China broadly, there's still not a lot of support for people with mental illness. There aren't many people who understand it and the specific different types of mental illness that people might have. There have also been in recent years some particularly controversial ways in which people have tried to cure mental illness, such as psychoshock therapy. So stories like this, they do reach the media, and there's a lot of concern within China and people saying that the government's not doing enough. But at the same time, government media are constantly putting out reports saying that the healthcare service is pushed to the limits anyway, and it's very difficult for them to invest more in it.
There's another story as well, another gruesome story as well that you've been looking at.
Yes, this is a story that's in Hainan province, which is in southern China. It's about two drug dealers who today were basically given a public trial. So they were brought out in front of a lot of people, including school children, and basically given their sentences for drug trafficking, and they were put to death. So all of these people, and children very, very young, I would say 5 or 6 years old, came out to watch this. And the reason this is coming out is because President Xi Jinping has been on this campaign at the moment to take a much firmer stance against drugs. Actually, for a number of months, there have been these occasions in southern China, being near the coast, where notices go around in schools, public places, saying, come and watch a public trial. Back in December, there was a big instance in Guangzhou where I think it was 12 people were put to trial, and there was just a massive crowd of people who turned out to see these people being sentenced to death.
But just to clarify, these school children didn't actually see these drug dealers being put to death. It was the trial that they watched.
Yes, they only watched the trial. Then what happens is after they see the verdict being read out, these criminals are put into a car, and they're almost paraded on the back of these open car carriages. They're stood next to police officers while they're basically led straight to the firing range.
And that was Kerry Allen, who is our China media analyst with BBC Monitoring.